Greetings, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Be Ready Becoming Bankable session. We have had a number of these, and they just keep getting better and better and helping us more and more. And so we are just as excited for tonight's session, preparing for tax season, something that is extremely critical in business as we are learning more and more. We've learned about budgeting, we've learned about bookkeeping, and now we're going to tie some of those concepts up with a session from Latonya of a tax and bookkeeping company, L.O.C, to talk about preparing for tax season. So as usual, as you know how we do this, if you have questions throughout, feel free to jump in. We'll also have time for questions at the end. And I will get out of the way, or unless there are any questions to start off, I will get out of the way and let Latonya take over to prepare us for tax season.
Well, hello, everyone. I want to thank you for attending this webinar called Preparing for Taxes, Being Bankable for the Being Bankable program. I want to first thank Sorella and Ali and Phoenix L.O.C for allowing me to do another webinar and being able to, educate the community on how they may better equip themselves with organizing their business finances. And so I just want to thank you much, and it's much appreciated. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so a little bit, working on this, hold on. Can you still see the screen now?
Yes, we can see the presentation now.
And it's okay. I'm gonna admit someone in the room. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am the CEO and founder of a tax and bookkeeping company, L.O.C. I'm going on 5 years with running my tax and bookkeeping practice, and I've worked in the corporate accounting and tax industry over 25 years, working for industries such as retail, restaurant, grocery industries, engineering firms, and aerospace. I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Management and Marketing and a Master of Business Administration with a concentration in accounting. I have a licensure, license C, and my goal right now is I am working on being an enrolled agent, and I plan to do that by November. I am keeping my fingers crossed and all that good stuff. Okay. The three topics that I wanted to cover over tonight are why am I not ready for the 2021 tax season? And then, it could also be why do I feel I'm not ready for the 2021 tax season? 2, we will talk about some solutions to prepare you for the 2021 tax season. And 3, we're gonna look at some action options to get you ready for the tax season. So how many of you on here are ready for the 2020 tax season? And I can't see the chat box, but I wanted to just for you to type in 2021 in the chat box so I can know. And Sorella, if you could tell me how many are there, I'd very appreciate it if you're ready or not. Anybody put it in the chat box? Oh, there's one. Hold on. Definitely not ready. Okay. Let's see. Is that Ali? Yeah. Okay. No, unfortunately. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Well, you know what? Well, for those that that feel that they are not ready, let me tell you that it is not late to get your taxes and bookkeeping organized for the 2021 tax season. We are ending the 3rd quarter and going into the 4th, so you still have time, okay? You are in the right place tonight for you to get ready for the tax. And hold on. And talking about time, if you filed an extension to file your 2020 tax season, 2020 taxes, and the deadline is April 15, 2021. So to pay your taxes that are due to the IRS. So you want get that in if you file an extension. All right. So let's talk about why some may feel that they are not ready for the tax season for those that didn't type. Why I'm not ready for the tax season. Let's first look at the value of our time. Okay? It takes time, as we know, it takes time to organize and record your business finances on a monthly basis. But what happens when time is not spent on your business finances? Records are unorganized and usually put into, I call that favorite box. And I say women, women love so much, and is that shoebox. And you used to get the receipts and things in the shoebox. With that, what else? The wallet, you might put your receipts and things in the wallet, purse, and the car. Sometimes they're left, also left in the filing bin. But they never get organized, and you end up throwing them in the trash, right? Because why? The ink on the receipt is no longer visible, right? So let's see the records consisting of the following that are unorganized. It can be the cash register tapes, deposit information, which are your cash and credit sales, receipt books, your invoices, forms 1099 miscellaneous record, council checks or other documents, and council checks and other documents reflecting proof of payment electronic funds transferred. Okay. So what else happens when time is not contributed to keep track of your records, to actually keep them organized? Well, let's look at a list of business deductions that can be missed when you get ready to file your 21 taxes next season. Let's look at the petty cash items. And those what petty cash items are. They usually pay cash for bagels for the office, breakfast items, park for things that you use for your petty cash, car expenses, which is your business mileage. You could be losing deductions on your business mileage, your standard deduction or your actual expenses. I'm not sure if you know or not, but you cannot take both. You have to take either the standard deduction or the actual expenses. Let's look at other document preparation services. These are records that you have, consultations with with attorney, an accountant, or your tax preparer. These are some of the deductions you could be missing out on. Business startup and organizational costs. Those are startup costs for those that have just started a business. You can miss out on deductions on that, especially if you have a section 179 for your new materials that you brought into the business. Your organizational costs. I'm sorry, excuse me. Your S corp corporations, all the fees that you set up to become a corporation, partnership, L.O.C, those documents there. Miscellaneous business expenses, those are bank fees and charges, credit card fees, including late fees. These are education and training for yourself and your employees. All these are deductions that can be missed if you're not ready for the 2021 tax season. Okay, so let's look at another reason why you may feel you are not ready for the tax. And let's look at the list. Here, personal and business accounts are mixed together. Transferring money between business and personal accounts without documentation, right? Writing business checks for personal reasons, expenses, and vice versa. You're writing personal checks into your business account. You withdraw money from your business account to pay personal expenses without documentation. Okay, so why do you want to keep your personal and business finances separate? Well, looking at legal issues of commingling your business can cause serious issues. If you are ever sued by, let's say, our creditors, for example, and your records are mixed together, this is one way that they can look into your personal assets and take them. And we don't want it. They call it the corporate veil. So you want to always be covered with separating your accounts. Looking at the tax implications or the tax issue perspective, commingling your funds can affect you into paying more in taxes because you don't determine which transactions are personal and which ones are business. Okay. On to the next one. Okay, so why you may also feel you are not ready for the tax 21 season, let's say the workflow, to handling your accounts payable and your accounts receivable are not set up properly. Okay, so with setting up your accounts payable account properly, you are able to determine who you owe. For example, if you have contracts that have 30, 60, 90 days, for example, the payment terms, it's easy to forget these terms if your workflow system is not set up to pay. Okay, and this goes for the same for your accounts receivable accounts. You provide a service, you want to make sure you want to make sure who owes you, who owes you, so you can get paid if you're on your contractual 30, 60 day term agreement. Okay. All right, so another reason why you may feel you're not ready for the 21 tax season is that you may not be sure what to do to prevent from being audited by the IRS. All right. So according to an Accountancy Age article that I read, it said that 35% of self-employed contractors stress out about making an accounting mistake. Right? They report that making a mistake is the biggest fear of self-employed contractors who do their accounting. Okay, so one key strategy to building a strong foundation in your business is aligning your records, right, in compliance with the Internal Revenue Code in the IRS, two different. And you really want to go by the Internal Revenue Code because that's what the IRS uses, is the Internal Revenue Code. The IRS says the policies and procedures, but the Internal Revenue Code is what the IRS uses. So you want to become in compliance with the Internal Revenue Code. Right. So there are 3 types of tax audits that can be encountered when operating a small business, okay? The first one is a correspondence audit. Now, this type of audit requires you to send financial records or IRS documents through the mail when it's requested, okay? So you're gonna get a letter in the mail. They're gonna tell you what they need, pertaining to whatever tax year that they're auditing, and you just send this type of audit, send your information to them through mail. So this is the most common type of audit for individuals, right? The second audit are office audits, okay? And these audits require you to visit an IRS office for a face-to-face interview with an auditor, okay? So an office audit are common. These kind of office audits, they're common for those that have complicated income tax returns or have documents that are not easy to mail, all right? So, and the last one is the field audits. And these are IRS agents that come and they go knock, knock, and they visit your place of residency or your office. A field audit, it can occur at your home, your place of business, or in your accountant's office. Okay, so if you have a client and the IRS goes to their, I guess we're to tax affairs, but if they go to your client's house and they're not there, they're going to go to the office. So that is actually a field audit. The majority of these audits, they take place when businesses or organizations have complicated, bulky income tax returns and financial documents, that are not easily to carry over to the IRS office. So that's the IRS Office of importance of staying in compliance. Okay. All right. And the last reason I could think of as to why you may feel you are not ready for the 21 tax season is because you may think that your business is too small for bookkeeping. And that is just too small for an efficient workflow process. And so listen, the self-employed, I was reading this article also too, and it really caught my eye. And I said, the self-employed are not small business. They are the businesses. And me personally being in the business and with the economy is going today, we are the business. So we have to stay our records and keep our records straight and stay in compliance for the tax year. All right, so we just talked about 4 areas as to why we may feel that we are not ready for the 2021 tax season. And these areas were the value of time, okay, where your records are unorganized and you can miss out, on the advantages of claiming business credits, business deductions. All right, the commingling of bank accounts, money between business and personal accounts without documentation. You have to have documentations if you're going to transfer any money and from your business to your personal. The important thing is to have documentation. Okay. Writing business checks for personal reasons, expenses, and vice versa. Okay. And knowing what vendors owe you funds from a service you provide. Okay. And which vendors you owe from the services that they provided. Okay. And most importantly, you want to prevent from being out of compliance with IRS. So you want to prevent from being audited. So now let's look at one solution and talk about the action you can take to be prepared for the 2021 tax. Okay. So let's look at what bookkeeping tool you should invest in your company to prepare. Sorry, I didn't change the screen. Yeah, so let's look what bookkeeping tool you should invest in your company to prepare yourself for the 2021 tax season. So I believe every business owner should invest in their company is an accounting system. Okay. An accounting system is a system of collecting, storing, and processing financial and accounting data that are used by decision makers. Okay. And you all are decision makers because you chose to be on this webinar to prepare for the 2021 tax season. And to me, that is just a beautiful. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, which accounting system should I use? Let me tell you what I, right? My suggestion is QuickBooks. I suggest using QuickBooks, okay? So with QuickBooks, you can get organized and stay effortlessly organized. You will gain more time to offer advice in your own business. You will help you'll help maximize deductions and identify more deductions. You'll stay compliant by simplifying your work process, simplifying your work to prepare your taxes, or hand documents over to your accountant or your tax preparer at tax time. And you can generate P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow reports to manage the cash flow in your business. Okay, so if you are gaining or losing your profit, you want to know if you're gaining or losing profit, so that you'll know and manage the cash flow in your business. Okay, and last, QuickBooks has the option for you to pay your vendors and for you to get paid faster from your clients. So, in all, it's money in your pocket. Okay. All right, so let's look at some of the benefits of using QuickBooks. Some of the benefits we will look at is using the mobile app, okay, categorizing the transactions, the receipts, the mileage, and the tax details. So let's look at the mobile app benefits. Okay, so with QuickBooks, you have the capability to download the mobile app to a phone or tablet, and you can stay on top of your finances anytime and anywhere. Okay. So once you connect your bank in QuickBooks, it's easy to separate business from your business from personal and categorize transactions into simple Schedule C categories. So some of the Schedule C categories can be mileage, advertising expenses, okay, which I would talk about in a few minutes about the mileage. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but there's advertising expenses, commissions and fees, repairs and maintenance, office supplies, taxes and licenses, travel meals, legal and professional services, and business. Okay, so these are items that you would transfer or use to as kind of like your chart of accounts too in QuickBooks. I would put it too. All right, so you can use the phone. On the wrong side. Trying to match it up here for a minute. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I have technology. I lost my place. Working on two screens. Okay, so there's another feature, and it's you can use a snap feature, which is your receipts. Okay, so you can use a snap of your phone to snap pictures of receipts, and what it'll do, it'll be categorize all of your expenses, your expense transactions. So this benefit that QuickBooks created, I love it. It can be, or will be loved by your bookkeeper or your accountant, because it eliminates that shoebox hoarding of your receipts, and it eliminates actually a capture or the snapshot of the receipt uploaded to your phone or a stock folder. So what it does, when you take a snapshot of your document, it'll automatically upload into your phone. You can categorize all of your expenses that are listed on this PowerPoint right now that we discussed earlier, and then it'll go into your desktop or your online system. So it has that capability. And then another thing is that when you do use a snapshot, the QuickBooks a snapshot of your receipt, it'll be sent into the program. And so if you're ever audited, your accounting, your bookkeeper will have a copy of that in their file. So that is one of the special features that I like in QuickBooks. Okay. So next is another one. I just wanted to see, I want to type, if you could type a 1 in the chat if you use your vehicle for business. All right, Jacqueline, you use your business vehicle for business. All right, anyone else? All right, I know I use my vehicle for business. So when the mileage feature is enabled in the QuickBooks app, this will automatically track deductible mileage using your mobile's GPS function. Okay, so QuickBooks patented technology, it only uses the phone GPS. Okay, so while you're actually moving, so reliable data is captured without draining the battery. Okay, so right now the mileage rate for 2021 is 56 cents a mile. Okay, so now if you imagine you are keeping track of your miles, for example, let's say that your company drove about 20,000 business miles, right, for the year, that's 11,200 that can be reported on your taxes as a standard mileage rate. So imagine if you didn't keep track of your mileage. And I'm just saying $20,000, 20,000 miles. My niche is a truck driver, so they usually drive that much. So, but if it was a lower amount, just imagine how much money you will be missing on putting on your tax deduction. And so now if you have the option to take standard mileage rate or actual expenses, but like I said earlier, you cannot take both. It has to be one or the other. Okay, so as you can see, by not tracking your miles, how much money is left behind to file on your taxes. Okay. And the QuickBooks apps will be able to keep track of that for you. Okay. Another feature that that benefits in the of having an accounting system with QuickBooks is the simple invoicing in QuickBooks. All right. This allows you to get paid faster with online invoicing and QuickBooks payments. And I personally, this benefit feature myself, I love it. I love this feature too. I find that, creating an invoice to get paid is very simple. All you have to do is you click the create button and I add my client's name and address and then my key and my service description and the amount I charge. I set my payment terms, push save, and then I send it. And it has a little message that automatically is populated. I put my name on it and it's sent away to my client. And my client will receive a link in their email. And the customers they pay directly in the online voicing portal at the tap of a button. That's all they do is they just push the button. They'll see your invoice, they'll see your terms, your charges. You put your contract terms. Also, if you have made a proposal for that, and they have the option to either pay with a debit or credit card. Okay. All right, our next one is estimated taxes. Who dislikes owing the IRS at the end of the season? I know I do. Don't like doing it. I don't have any children, so when you reach a certain age, you reach a certain tax bracket, it's like, oh my Lord. But
Hey, look, Latonya, this is Saria. I have a question. There's a question going back to your vehicle expenses.
oh,
It says,
okay.
what type of vehicle expenses can be counted towards taxes?
Okay, you can do, let me go back. You can do oil changes. You can do car, so it's a multiple list. You can do your oil, you can do your registrations. You can do your mileage. But like I said, you have to do the standard mileage or you have to do the actual expenses. You do your rent and lease. Those are, you said vehicle expenses. But all of your car exchanges, anything that's dealing with your car, like the registration, the tires, the oil, any type, things like that, you're able to account for that. Are there any expenses that go ahead?
I'm sorry, Latonya. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been my experience that the mileage actually works out better to take than the expenses. Has that been true for the clients that you work with?
To take the standard mileage instead of just the actual expenses. It,
Right.
it depends on which niche too. So like right now, like I have truckers. I'm in the transportation industry. And so majority of their life is in a vehicle. So they, to them, it would, and it depends on, what tax bracket you're on too. Some of it, it's, if you don't keep track of your mileage, if you don't keep track of your car expenses, your actual expenses, and you just keep track of your mileage, then the standard deduction would be the way to go. But if like for, my niche, if they kept track of their mileage, they kept track of, their truck expenses, their meals, deductions, the rent that they pay, the phone, all of those actual expenses add up. So what I do for my clients, I tell them to have a mileage report plus the actual expenses, and then I would calculate to see what benefits them to lower their tax liability.
Okay.
Okay. Did I answer?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it came from Jacqueline. Jacqueline, did she answer your question? Oh, she might have stepped away. Oh, okay.
That's okay. All right. So let's go to the quarterly taxes. So like I was saying, I know I don't like paying taxes, but there is a way to prevent owing to have to pay the IRS by April 15th of next year. And the best way, avoiding owing the IRS is to set aside quarterly tax estimates. Okay, so the estimated tax indicator in QuickBooks, which you can do on your mobile, they have it's the tax indicator. It's an estimate by that on the app that you can enable on your phone, and it takes an estimate. It depends on the categories that you have put set for your Schedule C. So it'll take an estimate of those Schedule C category items and give you an estimate of how much taxes you should pay every quarter. So that information is entered into the tax profile screen if you're using the QuickBooks app for that. So using this, it eliminates, any type of nasty surprises. So, and if you're still curious, if you don't use the QuickBooks, tax as estimator, you can always go to the IRS Gov and go into the search tool and type tax withholding estimator, and it will guide you onto how much money you should be paying your quarterly. Okay. All right, so the tax detail report, it includes a detailed listing for your Schedule C categories. Okay, so when you use your QuickBooks app or your desktop, and an Excel version can be generated with a single tap of a button, and the documents can be given to your bookkeeper or your tax accountant for easy preparation of your Schedule C, and you can also use it yourself. So now let's look at on how to get an accounting system through QuickBooks. Okay. Okay. QuickBooks, QuickBooks has a subscription for self-employed freelancers. Okay, and which these are individuals, they have side jobs in the gig community, drive Uber and freelance Uber, Lyft, things like that. Any type of side job, actually. So QuickBooks Self-Employed doesn't link to the apps, okay? So you just have different apps that they provide, but the Self-Employed QuickBooks subscription doesn't link to the app. So if you are looking for a full general ledger package for your business, which includes, having inventory or payroll or sales tax, then you will need to use another QuickBooks subscription. Okay, tax, healthcare, and vehicle profiles can be set up in the QuickBooks app for the self-employed subscription. It's a really good feature. So this subscription, it costs $675 a month for 3 months, and you will save like 55% off a link that I will put into the chat box at the end of this presentation. But after that, it goes back up to the retail price of $50. Okay. But with the self-employed subscription, you get the following features. Okay, so you get the track income and your expenses, capture and organize your receipts, maximize your tax deductions, invoice and accept payments, run basic reports, and then track your miles. Okay, so reasonable. Oh, and you can also add your accountant to self-employed too. So if you don't want to get the subscription and you want the accounting system, you can add here, and you don't have the time to do your books. You can add an accounting book to work on that too. So now for those that are looking for like a general ledger package, which I explained earlier, which includes, the inventory and the payroll and the sales tax. These right here are the subscriptions you will need, okay? You save 55% off the first 3 months of the subscription, and then it'll switch back to the regularly low retail monthly price as seen on the screen, okay? So the Simple Start subscription is almost similar to the self-employed when you look at it, but there's added features such as sending estimates sending estimates and tracking your sales tax, and managing your 1099 contractors. Okay. And let's see, the essentials package, it's the same thing, but the only three options is you're managing your bills, you're tracking your time. All right, and the way you track your time, you're tracking your using the QuickBook time. So QuickBook has a time that you can time it's like your time clock. You time yourself on your projects or your job that your clients work that you're working on, so you can keep track of your time. You can keep track of your employees' times too with that. And this includes 3 users under the Essentials plan. Okay, and the Plus, which is most popular one, has all the other features, but it is included. It includes 5 users. Okay, and you track your. It has a new feature which is track your project profitability, and what this does is you track all of your labor costs, your payroll, and you can track all of your projects within QuickBooks. Okay, and then you also track your inventory. And with the Advanced, we have you can have the smart reporting powered by Phantom. And what this is, this tracks KPIs to see how well your business performs. It's like the in-depth analysis tool that you can use. And it also has a feature where you can create presentations and customize your reports with easy to read visuals under this plan. Okay, and the accelerate invoices is that if you have a lot of invoices, you do a batch invoicing and multiple invoices and checks and expenses and bills. So you're doing like a really batch invoicing under this subscription. Okay, custom users permissions, you have them control who you want viewing the information in your accounting system. So you have complete total control. You have like contractors that you want contractors to do work with, that you want to work with within your system, or the employees that you hire. All right, and the last one is a premium care, and that's just a dedicated account team that you work with. Okay. You have any type of with your subscription and title. All right, so if you are ready to invest in any of the QuickBooks subscriptions, as I mentioned, I will put a link in below, and you can purchase a subscription, okay, that fits your business. All right, and if you don't have an accounting system, and you know that one of the QuickBooks subscriptions I've mentioned is for you, your business, I will put a link in the chat box, okay, and you can receive 55% off of your subscription. All right, and if you are not sure which one is for your business, I will put a link in the chat box also, and you can call me for a quick 15-minute bookkeeping strategy also. Okay, if you are looking, to say if you're using QuickBooks accounting system and you're behind, and your bookkeeping, and because you're spending a lot of your majority of your time marketing and branding your business and doing other various administrative tasks that a small business do. We wear many hats, and you have no time to keep your financial matters in order. Then I will put a link in the chat box, and we can get a 15-minute bookkeeping strategy session going. All right. So that's it for me. I will be happy to take any questions you have at this time. If anyone has any questions.
Hi, Tanya. I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, I'll go. I was gonna ask if QuickBooks can also be used for like state and local taxes, sales tax type stuff.
Yes.
They have functionality for that.
Yes, sir. They do have it. They do have features where you can put in your sales tax, and are you for e-commerce or
for in-store local
retail?
sales? Yeah,
Mhm.
retail. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, there's different features. And with that feature, you can break out all of your, like if you have inventory, there have function capabilities of tracking all of like your inventories within the system with the sales tab. And also, yeah, it prepares you for the tax, like tax time too. So you can set that up.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And then one more quick question. A lot of the businesses that we've been dealing with, at least through the program, are definitely what you might consider smaller business, startups, side businesses, that kind of thing. And what I'm finding is that many are commingling funds, they're in their account and are not keeping any type of records. And so what I would ask is, and so that I can give proper, guidance or, recommendations for them, is like at what stage would you say it is critical, or at least recommended for a business to start adequately tracking and separating accounts and things like that? Is that something you think should be done right off the bat? Or if let's say like some businesses, they only do something 1 week in a month, right? They're not doing stuff daily or even weekly. So even at that type of stage, would you still say it's important for them to separate everything out and track? Or like if they're that small, is it even worthwhile?
It is right from the bat.
Okay.
Even if you don't have a license, or like your business is not set up as an L.O.C. or it's not entity.
Yeah.
Because I get that with the gig workers, they feel like I don't should be taking my my mileage and things like that, and what I put in the bank account. If you have a side job, even if you have a hobby, you can use your savings account. I mean, I know some banks you have to have an entity form, you have to have a corporation article. Corporations, they want to see all of that. So some folks, it's like, I don't have the time for that, but you should have the time. You got to make the time for that. But I mean, if you can't, you always want to have at least a checking or a savings account. Any extra money that you put aside, separate it, because you don't want the tax to get the IRS to be in your personal business. And you have to document. You want to document everything, because that's just an opportunity. Like they're going to look in your business account and they're going to be like, oh, where this transfer, where this get transferred? Well, we're going to have to look into your personal account to actually see if that's what it is. So I would say up the bat, from the start, have 2 accounts. If you have to have 2 checking accounts, use it as a business account.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah, and that way it's easy for your tax preparer because we can always just go through the bank account, that one particular bank account, and all your business information is in that one account. And you'll be surprised how much your fee will be with your tax preparer, with your accountant, if you're really organized. So that's why your prices is high, because it's not organized. And then it gives us more work to do. But if you're organized, oh my gosh, we love it. And your price is not, volume. That's what we look at volume.
Gotcha.
And then also, I leave for if they're looking to do certifications, and if they're commingling funds, that's a red flag.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. I guess my question to you, Latonya, is quarterly taxes, right? Because most people don't understand quarterly taxes, and they don't really understand how to calculate their quarterly taxes. So can you go into a little bit more depth and say, okay, talk about quarterly taxes and when they're due and when you're supposed to pay? Because I know for me, and I did this accidentally, I wasn't doing, so I got penalized at the end of the year for not paying on time. So for each of the quarterly taxes that I paid. So can you say about that?
I can. So The best way I would say is to go onto the irs.gov, and they're going to give you a whole questionnaire of your gross income, of your expenses. But mainly it's going to be how much income you've made for the whole year. The way that the easiest way I would say to keep track of your quarterly taxes is that you would have to know how much you're making every quarter. What you make every quarter is an estimate of what your taxes is going to be next year. And it can be a higher tax bracket too. You have to be careful with that too, because you could make or more, you could have made less, within that year. So, but the best way with that's why it's called estimate. You want to take an estimate of what you make every third quarter. And they have a system that you can go on, the IRS tax system. I can't remember the top of my head, but it's a system that you go on there and you make your quarterly taxes. And sorry, I just had a brain fart. You go on there and you pay your taxes. So that and the dates, it's every quarter. I don't have the date here. That's what I was going to do, but it is every quarter. It's every 15th. It would be like April 15th. The first one is I believe it's March, June, August, September. And then the last quarter is the following year of January 15th. So the last payment will be due the following year on January 15th, but it is every quarter. I would suggest, like I said, just go on the irs.gov website. It has detailed information. It pulls up, it'll ask you for all of your gross income. It asks you for all of your expenses. Even if you have a business, if you're self-employed, it does individual and small businesses. And you just have to put all of your information online in that portal, and it'll tell you how much taxes. And once, it'll guide you where you need to send your payments to get started. And the dates too.
And I want to say that's critical. I can just tell you about my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
I underestimated my self-employment tax, and
Mm-hmm.
boy, oh boy, I had to pay a penalty for it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
that penalty is no joke. It's almost as much as what you missed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I call it tax planning, and usually at the end of the year when I do my clients' tax planning, I usually tell them, you need to do your estimate taxes, you need to pay your estimate taxes. There's a form, I believe, that calculates how much, and your accounting software system will let you know too. Even the QuickBooks, if you start using the QuickBooks tax estimator, it'll let you know how much tax you should be paying. It's a hefty penalty. It really is, especially if you're in that tax bracket, that high tax.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions?
Yeah, this is Jackie. I had a question. I actually put it in the chat, but my question was what type of vehicle expenses can be counted toward your taxes?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we were talking about the standard deduction, the actual expense deductions. And for your actual expenses, I was stating that, anything that you operate within your car, where obviously the mileage deduction, you can take that, use the standard mileage deduction, which is the 56 cents for a mile for the 2021 tax year, or you can use your actual expenses like oil changes, anything kind of repairs or maintenance that's on your car, getting the tires changed, your registration, things that's related to your vehicle. Those are maybe the basics of expenses that you can take as a deduction.
Does car insurance count?
I'm sorry, the
car insurance?
No, the car insurance is not tax deductible.
I just want to be sure if I do it wrong. Thank you.
And if it's a person, if it's for your business, you can take the car insurance. If it's for personal, you can't. But there's there's like licenses and registration. Those type of insurances you can. Because I know for the trucking industry, they have a lot of, like for their vehicles, they have to take a cargo insurance. My goodness, they have a lot of insurance, and those are deductible. But if it's business related insurance, yes. If it's for your car insurance, personal, no. But if you are using, you could take a percentage. You could want to take if you are using your personal for business related, you can take a percentage of you can't take the whole insurance. You can take a portion. You could take a percentage, and I would say it would be about 20% of your that you can use.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Latonya, I have one more question. I know for last year, there were a lot of like the SBA loans, PPP, there's grants given out. Can we talk a little bit about how those things will be treated this coming tax year?
Well, yeah, so those, you gave me a tough question, Ali.
And we can follow up with the response. I just know it'll be, a different, it's kind of an anomaly for most years.
I was going to ask too, so thank you.
Yes, those loans, those are treated different. Those aren't on the profit and loss statement. That is a balance sheet, pretty much transaction. And those have to be specifically organized and separated and inputted in QuickBooks differently, like a whole separate account. So it depends on, how your SBS loan is written out and your terms, and depending, you can, claim the interest, any type of interest that you pay on your SBA, those can be written off. Those can go on your profit and loss. But any other transaction that's paying on it and like the principal and things like that and what's owing, those are like balance sheet transactions, and those are treated separately from the business. Like you should have two different types of transactions on your balance sheet. Your loan for the SBA transaction, and like things for your regular business. So you should have a loan account. So anything that's coming out from your SBA loan account, it has to be identified. If you're spending any type of expenses on your SBA loan, those need to be identified separately from what you're making off of your business.
Gotcha. And do you happen to know if the loan is being forgiven? Do you know if it then has to be treated like a grant, or you know how we should be treating those?
I haven't got it. I've heard about the forgiveness loans. I don't know in detail how that process works.
Okay.
But I do know that I can't really speak on the forgiveness loans. I know it is out there. I haven't really gotten detail on how to do that and how that works. But I hear it's a simple process, but I haven't really followed up to any of the that type of like SBS loans like that. But regarding
I've heard
oh
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say regarding of like how to treat those transactions on your books, I do know that. But regarding like the forgiveness part of it and how that works and how to get it forgiven, I'm not sure how that process works.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I can tell you a little bit about, because I got a PPP loan, Ali. So it depends on who you went through.
Okay.
They should send you a portal.
Okay.
And follow the portal and the questions. You got to make sure you have documentation, especially if you use it for payroll. And I think it's like a five questions. How much did you get? What did you use it for? Upload your documentation and hit submit. So it's actually
if those. Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard similar things. And then if businesses are able to have it forgiven, I'm assuming it's just a wash, and there's no taxes or anything due on the amount.
No, I think it's just a wash.
Got it.
However, like for your expenses, it depends on what you used it for. So like if you use it for payroll, if you gave it to your payroll company, you can deduct those expenses. And then also like for like if you use it for like, rent and stuff like that, you just have to keep documents. And I heard that those are deductible, but we have to wait until the final decision, because I've heard that it's not, it's yes, it's no. So they're probably going to give guidance as we get closer to tax season on what's deductible, what's not.
Got it. Okay.
Do you know, is there a deadline for that? I'm not sure, because it seems like they like switch. Is there a deadline for the forgiveness?
It depends on if you got like an 8-week loan or a 24-week loan.
That's right.
So like for mine, I got my PPP loan in February, but I couldn't do the forgiveness until 11 weeks later, right? So they will tell you when it's time to do your PPP forgiveness application.
Oh, okay, well that's okay.
Right? So, and you just fill it out and send it in. But as far as like deducting the expenses, it's all over the place. So some say no because it's a grant, and and some say yes, you should be able to do it, because if your loan is not forgiven, then you should be able to take it. So we just have to wait till we get closer to the tax season. And then the IRS will give a ruling on that.
Cool. Thank you.
Still, but still keep your expenses and all of that together, just in case they say yes. I don't know. I'm hoping they say yes, because hey, I could take extra expenses out.
Right. I know. Hopefully they forget.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Okay. Thank you. That was my last question.
Okay.
So, Latonya, I have one question for you.
Yes.
So, what is the number one thing we should do now, after we get off this call and we, learn everything from you? What would you say is the number one thing we should do?
I would say to get organized. Start organizing. Get your bookkeeping together. If you have a business, you start make sure that your profit and loss statements are together, your system that you have if you're using the accounting system, they have them categorized, have them reconciled, and have your financial reports together. Like I said, the accounting system is one way to really keep track of to keep track of all your financial matters. It's easier, I should say, if you have an accounting system. Some people prefer to do spreadsheets and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to save time, I believe, having an electronic accounting system works in your favor, because you're not missing out on any type of deductions. So that is the number one thing. I would work on your accounting system, your process together, get your record keeping together, because it really saves time, and you won't miss out money for next year.
Right. And
go
ahead.
I'm saying, if you don't have your books done, if you don't have your bookkeeping, if you don't have your records, there's no way that you can do your taxes. I mean, there is, but you're gonna out on your money. So your number one thing is to get your records organized, so that you can have proper tax report, tax filing.
And I'll always say, if you don't keep track of your expenses, all of your income becomes income. So
right.
125,000 and you can't figure out what your taxes is, guess what? You just push yourself into two different income brackets.
Right. Exactly.
It all becomes taxable.
Right. And especially if you're self-employed, you're not an entity, you're getting double taxed anyways. Self-employment tax, FICA tax, Medicare tax, and things like that, you're getting taxed twice. So if you can keep track of your records and things, especially if you're on a business, you want to get it, and you're making what, $80,000, $70,000 a year. You want to get out of that LLC. You want to get out of the Schedule C and go into like an S corp, where it's a pass-through entity, and you won't get taxed. You won't get taxed twice. Pass-through entity. So that's really important. That's why it's so important to know. You get, like Cyril says, you go into a higher tax bracket. You want to save as much money as you can.
Yes, we definitely have to bring you back to talk about why move from an LLC to an S corp. There's a strategy behind that. So
It is, and yes, there's a lot of strategy with that. I'm just so amazed at that. Yeah, especially owning a home and things like that. It's yeah. Well, I'll talk about that. Some like tax saving tips and things like that. Especially if you're owning like property and things like that.
right. So if I were all of you, Latonya has what do you say? She can help you.
Yes, let me put this on the screen in the chat box now. So if you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me. If you want to set an appointment and have a 15-minute strategy call, you can link that link. Is it linkable? Is there a link in there?
Calendly.com. Is that what you put in the chat?
Calendly, Can you click on it? Or
No, when you click on it, it doesn't take you there.
okay. Now does it?
You probably have to copy paste it into the.
Yeah, there's going to be a copy.
Yeah, it's working for me, but I'm on an iPad. I don't know if that has any difference to do with it.
Okay, yeah.
But if not,
Can you
can't
copy
get it
and
working,
paste it? Yeah.
yeah, if we can't get it working, then we'll just email it out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
And here's the other link if you're interested in purchasing a subscription, QuickBooks subscription. Well, that worked. Maybe I need to put the HTTPS or something. Let me see if that works. Oh, let's see. Okay, there's the other link.
Okay.
I appreciate everyone. I thank you for coming on here. Like I said, I thank you for this opportunity to educate and share. Get your folks prepared for the 2021 tax season.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yes, welcome. Thank you.
So I don't want to pay any taxes. I want to pay zero taxes. I want to be like Jeff Benzo, pay zero taxes. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Well, if there are any other questions, feel free to jump in with them or drop them in the chat. Or you can obviously, and definitely encourage scheduling a follow-up one-on-one with Latonya to talk about your specific needs. But if there are none to get on the table tonight, then we will go ahead and close out. So once again, we thank everybody for coming on tonight, for engaging and learning and getting what you need. Hopefully you find beneficial to take your business and to the next level and prepare for tax season. As always, however we can be of support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Any past sessions, past topics. We've talked about business planning. We talked about marketing. We talked about being ready for loans and financial coaching and a whole myriad of topics. So as always, feel free to reach out. If you have anything that you want to discuss specifically related to anything that we've covered before, I will continue reaching out. Brother Jermaine, I know we got to catch up in regards to any needs that you have as far as one-on-one assistance and technical assistance. But if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and close out tonight. We have our next class, I believe is on Thursday.
I'm sorry, Ali, I have one more question.
Yes.
Okay, it's for Latonya.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at your calendar. I just want to know, is Monday the 6th really one of your days? Because that's a holiday. Yeah, I'm looking at your calendar. So it's open for appointments, but are you really taking appointments for the holiday?
No, I'm glad you caught that. Hold on. Monday
Monday the 6th.
Oh, I don't even, it's still on mine.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
No, I am so sorry. No, I'm not working on the 6th. So I would have to change that. But any other day is I'm available.
No, it's fine. I was just checking. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
No problem at all. But yeah, if there's nothing else, then we'll go ahead and close out for the night. Give you some time back, and we will see you again on Thursday.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you again, Latonya.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Latonya.
Thank you.
All right. Have a
You're
good night, everybody.
welcome.
Thank you.